always had a chance to be what you could have been. If you're like me, you take an inventory of 2018, crafting your New Year's resolution. As long as you have breath, as long as you have another day, you can always be who you were. Can you all stand with me as we read the Word of God? We're going to turn to Judges chapter 14. Judges chapter 14. We'll read together verses 1 through 3. Judges chapter 14. Judges chapter 14. If you have it, say, I got it. If you don't, say, wait on me. Judges chapter 14. I'm reading from the New International Version of the Bible. The Bible reads, Samson went down to Timnah and saw there a young Philistine woman. When he came up, he said to his father and mother, I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife. His father and mother replied, Isn't there an acceptable woman among your relatives or among all our people? Must you go to the uncircumcised Philistines to get a wife? But Samson said to his father, Get her for me. She's the right one for me. Get her for me. She pleases me well. Bow your heads with me as we consider for our time together. Booed up. Booed up. Father in heaven, we're grateful for another day. And there's nobody here under the sound of my voice who are reaching all of their potential. They're perfectly made in the image of God, and we're perfectly reproducing your right. Father, we're human made of flesh and bone, and we ask that you give us not a second chance, but another chance. We ask for your grace and your mercy. In your Son's name we do pray. The relationship between Cardi B and Offset fluctuates more than America's relationship with China. For the last couple years, they've been testing the thesis that two broken people equal one whole person. They've been testing the hypothesis that you can change somebody if you have enough effort. They're testing the idea that when someone shows you their true colors, you can change them if you paint them a different color. When they went on their first date, it was a so-called group date. Offset had an entourage full of chicks, and Cardi B was just one of them. And then the fool had the nerve to tell her, I like you because of how hood and nasty you are. Showing you his true colors, but not believing what he shows you. She defended Offset earlier this year on a deleted Instagram and Snapchat post. She says, it's not right to get cheated on, but what do you want me to do? Get another dude? Start all over with somebody else and get cheated on again? It happens to everybody. People handle their relationship in a different. When someone shows you their true colors, don't try to paint them to be something else. A person cannot change the color of their skin by bleaching and wrapping and fasting on special coffee. The person you are on the outside testifies of who you are on the inside. And no matter how much you change on the outside, you are who you are. And when somebody shows you who they are, please have the sense enough to believe them. $100,000 ring won't change it. A house will not change it. A record deal will not change it. I'll say this one time, a broken man likes what's broken inside of you because it matches what is broken inside of him. And when he likes you because something that's hood and nasty, it means that he is hood and he is nasty. You cannot change a hoe into a husband. Hello. Now he got you singing The Only Man, Baby, I Adore. I gave you everything. What's mine is yours. I want you to live your life. Of course, I hope you get what you're dying for. Be careful with me. Do you know what you're doing? Whose feelings you're hurting and bruising. You can gain the whole world, but is it worth the girl that you're losing? Be careful with me. It's not a threat, it's a warning. Please be careful with me. A ring will not change him. Pregnancy will not change him. Marriage will not change him. A baby will not change him. Offset, you need to read the story of Samson in Judges chapter 14, where it says Samson goes down to Timnah and sees a young Philistine woman. And when he comes up, or when he returns, he says to his father and his mother, I have seen a Philistine woman with my eyes in Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife. He says, I go down and see a woman. He makes an observation with his eyes and draws a permanent conclusion. Just because he likes you and wants you and desires you does not mean he values you. He's looking with the wrong eyes. He sees you and wants you. Let's not be super spiritual and say that chemistry is not important. When I was at Oakwood, I was a theology major, and all of the theology majors, they either wanted a nurse, a teacher, or a social worker. I married a nurse. It wasn't because she was a nurse. But sometimes I was tutoring the freshmen when I was a senior, and they said, I want a spiritual woman. I want somebody who can lift me into heavenly places. I want somebody who can sing my appeals when I'm preaching. I want somebody that can look into the eyes of somebody when I'm giving them a Bible study. I wanted to say, Negro, please. Chemistry is important. When Adam saw Eve, he had a chemical reaction. He had an emotional reaction. He said, ooh, this is bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. Let's not be super saved and say chemistry is not important. When you see somebody, the first thing you see is not their soul. When you see somebody on Tinder, not you, but people you know, the first thing you see is not their spirit and their character. I met my wife online, and the first thing I saw, I told her, was her smile. It wasn't just her smile. You don't see their character, their potential, or their spirit. I told my wife, I said, baby, your smile, I sent her some one-line thing. Your smile arrested my attention. That's a lie. I saw her physical features and they look good. I not only want a spiritual woman, you want somebody that gives you a chemical reaction. I can't share with you what my wife said the first time she talked to me. That's private. But when you see somebody, you have a chemical reaction. The first level of love is not eye to spirit, it's eye to body. It's eye to body. You have a chemical reaction. They used to call it butterflies or stars. They felt butterflies in their stomach and they had stars in their eyes. A chemical reaction is a process in which one or more substances, the reactants, are converted into one or more or something different substances called the products. Substances are either chemical elements or compounds, and a chemical reaction rearranges the atoms of the reactants to create different substances as products. Hydrogen and oxygen come together to form water. But when hydrogen and oxygen come together, they ain't looking at the spirit. They're looking at the atoms. Something happens. When two substances come together, there's an attraction, a pull, and a bond happens between the two substances. I failed out of college. I failed chemistry twice. I had to look this up, by the way. There are two types of bonds between two substances. You can have an ionic bond or a covalent bond. Cardi B wants a covalent bond when she talks about Aisha and Stephen Curry, where they share and they're attracted to each other, but they're equal and they share the bond. When two substances come together and have a covalent bond, it means they share electrons. But Cardi B and Offset, they don't have a covalent bond, they have an ionic bond. An ionic bond happens where two opposite ions are attracted to each other. And when they get together, they don't share, they take. A bond is formed, but I'm taking something from you. When Samson sees this woman, he likes her, he values her, and he desires her, but he's looking with the wrong eyes. And he's thinking with the wrong head. It says, when he returns, he says to his father and mother, I have seen a Philistine woman in Timnah, now get her for me as my wife. He says, get her for me, she's the right one for me. Like she's a Pepsi bottle. Another translation says, get her for me, she pleases me. Another one says, get her for me, she makes me feel good. Another translation says, get her for me, she makes me straight. Samson is fetishizing this woman. She's not a woman, she's a thing. We don't even know her name, but we know how she looks. He's fetishizing her. It's like the young man in Ocala, Florida, earlier this year. He held up a sign where he said, if I were black, I'd be picking cotton, but I'm white, so I'm picking you. Do you want to go to the prom with me? What self-respecting girl would accept such disrespect? We fetishize our women, and they become objects to please us. We value them and desire them and like them and are drawn to them. But so are candy bars inside a vending machine. A woman is not a vending machine, she's a crock pot. And we're the ones in the sunken place when we turn our women into objects and we turn into animals. It's really because of how we feel about ourselves. Chemistry is important, but that's not all there is. Samson wanted a transaction with the woman without committing to her because of the way he is treated and the way he is looked upon. You want somebody you'll hook up with but leave in the morning, and then when they leave, you slut shame them. We fetishize our women, and it's to our own downfall. You out there making mistakes, living your best life, trying to find yourself, hurting people and hurting yourself, and you don't know that you're thinking with the wrong head and looking with the wrong eyes. My grandma used to say, baby, you're screwed up, that's why you want to be booed up. Herod, when he saw the stripper dancing, he said, I'll give you anything you ask for, even half my kingdom. Really? She moving like that? David, when he saw Bathsheba, something had to happen. Solomon, this brother took it to another level. 700 wives and 300 concubines. Can you imagine folding that much laundry? I've been married for 2 years. It'll be 2 years in 3 weeks on the 29th. And one is hard enough. 1,000? Seeing with the wrong eyes and thinking with the wrong head. Check it out, y'all. That's normal and it's natural. And when you don't think it is, here's what you do. You blame her for your decisions. Cardi B released another post, another video, talking about we're trying to work things out. We're always going to be friends. We're really good friends and we're always going to be good business partners. And you know, he's always somebody that I run to talk to. We got love for each other, things just haven't been working out for a long time. It's nobody's fault. It's just like, I guess we grew out of love and we're not together anymore. I don't know how long it's going to take to get a divorce, but I always have a lot of love for him because he's my daughter's father. Yeah. People started posting, and Offset, this idiot, had the audacity to say y'all won. And the girl that he cheated with, Summer Bunny, posted a tearful apology saying, I didn't think your marriage was serious.
Right.
Watch out for people who blame other people for their mistakes. People who make decisions from chemical reactions, from emotions. Here it is. She made me angry. I'm just not feeling it no more. Preacher, my heart's not in it. I can't finish school because I want sleep more than discipline. I can't start my business because it's hard out here for a black man. Stop reacting and start living. We make decisions based off of emotions. Samson, you can't be a sheep in the streets and a wolf in the sheets. You can't have it both ways. The Bible says he goes down to Timnah and comes up. He goes down and he comes up. He goes down, but he comes up. See the Bible symmetry. He goes down, but he comes up. He gets booed up when he goes down. Now he wants to wife her when he comes up. He meets her in the club when he goes down, but he wants to parade her in church when he comes up. She meets him in jail when she goes down, but now she's at prayer meeting asking the church to intercede for his parole when she comes up. You need to understand something. Watch out for people who make decisions so quickly after they go down. The Bible is pretty clear in its poetry. This passage is full of sexual innuendo. He goes down, but he comes up. The Bible says she pleases me. She makes me straight. She makes me feel some kind of way. The Bible makes a clear point. You can have chemistry, but you need symmetry. And having symmetry and more is more than being members of the same denomination. Having symmetry is more than having the same culture and the same language. It's about being compatible and congruent in your faith, in your finances, in your values. It's not about being turned on. It's about, can you look out at the world and see things with the same eyes? It's not about being enthralled when you look at her, when you look at him, when the hormones are going, when the blood starts flowing, when the kinetic energy starts happening, and the dermis and the epidermis of your skin starts going a certain way. I know what we can do, but I need to know who you are. I got these feelings. Yes, I'm deep in my feelings, but this ain't really like me. I can't control my anxiety. Feelings like I can touch the ceiling. Boy, when I'm with you, I can't breathe. You do something to me. We got chemistry, but we need symmetry. Can we look out at the world together? Can we build together? Can we share together? Negro, you need to have something to build. If you don't, you're just taking something out of her soul. And the things you take from her, if you don't have something on the inside, the day's gonna come when she gets the bill of insufficient funds and she's gonna stop making deposits in your account. The Bible says, what God brings together, let no man tear asunder. It says that a woman leaves her father and mother and cleaves to her husband. But you need to give her a reason to leave. You need to be working with something to make her want to leave. You need to have a safe place for her to go. If you're thirsty around every female that you see, Negro, you better not come and talk to my daughter. If you ain't working with nothing, she's not going to leave and follow you anywhere. The Bible says he comes back and he says to his father and mother, he gives a report of his observations. He says, I have seen her. He's reporting his judgments based on his perceptions of what he sees. He says, now get. He leaves home. He comes back and says to his parents, now get. There's an urgency to my desire and I need it now. The conversation would have ended right there if they were Caribbean parents. Now and get. As soon as the N would have came out of my mouth, my jaw would have been on the floor. I would have never talked to my parents that way. It's like when I'm at Target or Costco and you see these toddlers when they're at the car register. None of your toddlers are ever like this. None of your kids are ever like this. They got perfect self-control. You want to leave them in the car with big sister and big brother. Now I'm going to take you to the store, but don't ask for nothing and don't touch nothing. None of your kids are ever like this. Perfect self-control. You can't leave kids in the car alone, amen. Don't touch nothing. Don't look at nothing, because you ain't going to get nothing. They in the store. You buying Christmas decorations. They have to register. And they see a toy. They see candy. And they say, I want it. Now give it to me. Well, we got it at home. No, I want that one. Give me an advance on my allowance. My allowance? That's when you say, I brought you into this world and I can take you out of this world. Get it now, mommy. I've seen kids mostly of a different complexion demand and hold their parents hostage for toys and candy. It's as if national security and their eternal happiness is at stake if they don't get what they're asking for at the register. I'm telling you, it had to be a mother that created Instacart and delivering groceries to your car and to your house just for those crazy kids. And when they don't get it, they begin to barter and they begin to scheme. And then they start to make a scene. It's at this point where I would just want to go Steve Harvey on them. I want to go D.L. Hughley on them. I see it. I want it. Now get it. He says, now get her. Now get her for me. And he says it to his father and his mother. The fall of man happened when we saw something, when we wanted something, and when we took it. Eve saw the tree that it was good for food and desirable to make one wise. And the Bible says she took it and she ate it. Just because you see something, just because you can take it, doesn't mean you should. I told you that it's not enough to have chemistry without symmetry. And his parents reiterated when they said, is there an acceptable woman? That's a whole other message there. Is there an acceptable woman? If you're going to settle, can you settle for somebody from your own family, from your own people, and from your own faith? Do you have to go to the uncircumcised Philistines to get a wife? Samson sees something in the vending machine, and he wants it, and he doesn't have a job, and he tells his parents to take it and get it. There's a play on words in Judges 14 of taking and getting. I see it, so I take it. It looks good. It gives me an erection. It's giving me this chemical reaction, and something has to be done about it. With your consent or without your consent. The reason why we treat women like objects is because we believe the lie that we're animals and we're objects. And society treats us this way, we treat our women this way. But check it out, there comes a point where you have to own your own stuff and learn how to make better decisions. David, when he saw Bathsheba, he said, I want her. Amnon, when he saw his sister Tamar, he got hot and bothered and he took her. This year, one of the most pathetic things I ever heard a mother say during the Supreme Court hearings with Brett Kavanaugh. They were interviewing people, asking people, what is acceptable behavior with your daughters? And this woman said in front of her two teenage daughters, it's okay for boys to grope you because boys will be boys. Men are not animals, and women are not vending machines. Samson, verse 3, he says to his father, get her for me, she's the right one for me. Get her for me, she makes me better. Get her for me, she pleases me. Get her for me, she's the right one. When he comes back, he addresses his father and his mother. But when they tell him that you need chemistry and symmetry, he goes to his father and says, get her for me. She's the right one. She's good looking. This word here, pleases me, also means she's gentle. She's easy. She's manageable. So check it out. He goes to a place he's never been. He looks at all of the women there, and his choice is the easiest, most manageable woman who gives him an erection. I can change her. She can make me go straight. The same direction my body goes is the same direction my heart will go. He wants someone for a lifetime after spending only a nighttime. Samson doesn't want a soulmate. He just wants to be booed up. I don't know about you, but we need some new songs. The songs on 94.5, I know you saved and sanctified and you don't listen to Orlando's R&B hip hop, but we need some new songs. We need somebody to sing A Chair Is Still a Chair. Even if no one's sitting there, but a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home when there's nobody there to hold you tight. I know you too saved to know who that is. We need some new songs. Some songs that says, because all of me loves all of you, loves all of your curves and all of your edges, all of your perfect imperfections. Give your all to me, I'll give my all to you. You're my ending, you're my beginning, because even when I lose, I'm winning. Because I gave you all of me, and you gave me your all of you. We need some new songs. We need some new songs that says, all of my tomorrows, they're all for you. All of my always for my whole life through. Because you're the one I want, I'll give you my tomorrow too. You'll have all of my tomorrows, they're all for you. All of your everydays, I'll be right there. You can have no doubts how much I care. There'll never be a day when I'll leave your side, not in this lifetime. That's me and my wife's wedding song. We need some new songs. Check it out, Samson, you can't have chemistry without symmetry, and you can't have chemistry without intimacy. And to have intimacy, you need time. You need to listen to people whose voice is authoritative in your life. If your parents don't like them, if your friends don't like them, if you have to make excuses before you introduce them, you can't have chemistry without symmetry. And you can't have chemistry without intimacy. Check it out. What's going to happen when she doesn't please you? What's going to happen when she doesn't make you tingle anymore? What's going to happen the day you get ED? What's going to happen after she has a child or two? What's going to happen if you're on medication and you can't do the things you used to do? What's going to happen then? Are you going to treat her like a vending machine and shake her and demand something that's not there? Are you going to go back to your symmetry and your intimacy?